Hi, my name is Cami Lewis, and I work on behalf of dairy farmers in the Southeast, connecting you to dairy's delicious nutrition. Today, we are at Windcrest Holsteins in Timberville, Virginia, and you're in for such a treat because your dairy farmer and tour guide today, Aaron Yutzy, is going to give you the behind the scenes look at how their dairy farm operates, including best practices, how they take care of their cows, and their environment. The focus of today's dairy farm tour is on sustainability, and Aaron is going to show you exactly how dairy farms are practicing being good stewards of their land and our resources. The tour is being held through Zoom and live streamed to Facebook and YouTube. And if you're joining us on Zoom, please use the question and answer feature to submit questions for our farmer. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, put them in the chat or comment section because we want to ask the farmer as many questions as we can. We really want this to be as interactive as possible, so please use these features to communicate with us today. I also want to note that the weather in Virginia is really windy today, so please bear with us as we might, Aaron's like facing some really strong wind gusts up there. So Aaron, I'm going to turn it over to you now so you can say hello and tell us a little bit about your farm.
Hi guys, welcome to Windcrest. It is a little bit windy today, but we stepped inside the barn and we got our curtain down, so we're a little bit sheltered. This is our family farm. It's been about 60 years in the family when my grandfather bought the land. And so you'll get to see a little bit of what the farm looks like today. We are in the freestall barn here. This is where the cows spend most of their time. They've got these big blue water troughs. They lay in these sand bedded stalls. And we focus a lot on keeping the cows cool and keeping them comfortable. So we've got lots of fans and we have misters on the fans as well it sprays a light amount of mist which evaporates, and that evaporation takes the heat out of the air.
Wow. Well, so tell me, what kind of cows do you have there?
Yeah, you'll see these are mostly black and white here. They're Holsteins. We also have brown Swiss and we have Jersey cows.
Okay.
Holsteins will be our bigger cows and Jerseys will be pretty small compared.
Okay, and how many cows do you have there on your farm?
We have 1,400 cows that we milk. And then there's more, there's the babies, the young cows, and then the ones that are pregnant between milking periods.
All right, well, looks like you've got a lot of pretty ladies there that you're doing a lot to make sure that they stay comfortable and well taken care of. Can you tell us a little bit about what these cows eat?
Yeah, sure. They are helping themselves to my buckets of sample feed, but we've got, so primarily they're going to eat corn silage and other silages that we grow and harvest here on the farm, and we buy from neighbors as well. But we also feed a lot of byproducts. Byproducts are things like canola. From after they make canola oil, and this is a good protein source. They put it into a pellet, so it's easier for us to feed. So it doesn't blow away like it will today. Next here is okara, which is from soy products, soy milk, tofu. That's the leftover. Yep. It's like mashed potatoes, but another good fat protein source. And then we've got brewers, which is from brewing beer. It's the leftovers there, and we get about sorry about that, a little windy. We get like 6 semi-truck loads of brewers each week, just to give you an idea how much of that byproduct we find a home for. The last one I have is wheat midds, which comes out of Winchester, I believe, but from a pasta plant. So these will be your hulls and the leftovers from the grain after they make the pasta.
Wow, that's really cool to see how y'all are using like byproducts of plants and foods that would otherwise go into our landfills. You're able to use those to feed the cows. That's really cool to see how they're able to upcycle foods that would otherwise not be used. And that's just really cool. Cows are great upcyclers. So tell me a little bit more about, like, I think it's really cool to see how you're doing so much to keep them comfortable. I think it's awesome that they're you're doing the misting fans. I know on hot summer days, like I wish I had a misting fan to keep me cool. Are those cows, are they able to like just graze around in there and eat all day long, all they want?
Yeah. Yeah. So you can probably see the feed here in front of them. But they're in the pens all day, and they can have access to food and water and a place to lay down. They go to be milked 3 times a day, and it takes maybe 20 minutes to half an hour for them to go up there, be milked, and come back. And then
the rest of the time they just get to, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So no, you go ahead. You tell me. This is all yours. I want to know what you're doing there. I could ask questions all day, but we do have some questions coming in on the chat too. I need to get to.
Okay, thank you. I was gonna mention how we clean the barn.
Sure.
So the stalls are designed that the cows don't like soil them. They'll poop in the alleyways and pee in the alleyways. But some of the sand comes out of the stalls too. So to clean that, we use recycled manure water to flush it, and then we also scrape it with a machine. It'll go down to a sand separator between our barns where the water slows down, and then the sand will settle out, and we have an auger that then removes the sand from the bottom of the pit. And we also add some clean water to help wash it. And so the sand you're seeing here is like, we recycle like 90% of the sand. So that helps us, keeps us from buying new sand and shipping it here. And then also all that sand would have to go out on fields as manure if we didn't recycle it.
Okay, nice. It's great to see how much y'all are recycling and conserving water and other resources. I know you have a lot more to share with us throughout the rest of this tour. I do see some questions here that people have coming in. Someone wants to know, how much does a cow weigh? One of your big cows back there, how much do they weigh?
Sure. Yeah, some of these weigh up to 2,000 pounds.
Oh, wow.
But some are, 1,500 pounds.
Okay, and then we have another, somebody's curious about your dog. We see a dog out there. So who is your dog? Does he have a name?
It does. His name is Duke. He is a wonderful dog most of the time. He can be a little ornery though, but I got him to grow up with my kids, but he wouldn't stay home. So he ended up getting in the truck with me each day. And so I bring him to the farm every day, and we chase cows and fix stuff.
He has fun. The life of a dog on a dairy farm. So are there any other, someone asked, are there any other animals on your farm?
No, just some farm cats maybe, but we just raise cows. No sheep or anything like that, no.
Okay. Well, it looks like we might need to move on with our tour and head over to the milking parlor next. And thank you for all showing us your cows and everything that is everything in the barns. We might have more questions about that later, but I know that we need to move on into another part of the tour. And as Aaron is going to share more specifics about sustainability at the Windcrest Dairy, we do have a photo to share with you of some pictures taken on the Yutzy, on the Windcrest Dairy farm, and how they are reusing old tires to keep them out of landfills. And they, like Aaron already talked about, they reuse sand that's used for the cows' bedding, and how they clean it. They're recycling water. I do think now it's time to, it's really noteworthy to point out that the dairy industry contributes less than 2% of total US greenhouse gas emissions. That includes what happens on the farm, the processing plant, and the store where you make your purchase. We do have a short video clip that'll help explain the environmental impact of farming. Okay, as Aaron looks like he's about into the milking parlor. I do want to note that I want to hear about the solar panels that I saw outside on your barn when you have a minute, but looks like you're in the milking parlor. So Aaron, take it away, talk about the solar panels, or you can go on into the milking parlor and talk about that too. It's all yours.
Oh. Yeah, so it looks like we're looking at the solar panels here. We have 1,800 solar panels. On this barn, the whole roof, on this side of the roof, is covered with solar panels. They produce about enough electricity for like 600 homes or more. And that's about it. I mean, that's what you're looking at, solar panels.
Okay.
Any questions?
I do have a few questions about the solar panels if you have just a minute. One question was, do you have to clean the solar panels?
We do, yes. We have gravel lanes, which I think make it worse, but yeah, we just cleaned them in the springtime. We might clean them twice a year.
Okay.
And you can definitely tell a difference.
Do you
do
the solar panels work on cloudy days?
They do, yeah. There's a tracking program on the internet, which you can watch, and it'll show you the production levels throughout the day with different weather events. But yeah, it'll make power with rain, or maybe not a heavy snow on top of them, but yeah.
Okay. All right, I see now the tanker trucks. That must be where all the milk goes. What can you share with us about those?
Yeah, this is, we're doing something called direct load. So at all times, we will have 2 or 3 tankers sitting there at the dairy. We fill 1 tanker in 10 hours. So we fill like 2 a day. And we cool the milk before it goes on the tanker. And then when the tanker's full, they'll bring an empty one, back it up to the next bay, and then they'll take a full one.
And how much milk goes into one of those tanks?
Sure. Each one holds about 6,000 gallons, I believe.
Okay, a lot of milk. I have a question here. How much milk does a cow make daily?
Yeah, it's about 10 gallons a day. If they're, if about 90 pounds or 80 pounds a day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And how many years does it take? I'm sorry, how many years does a cow make milk?
Yeah, typically like 5 to 8 years would be a good amount of time.
Okay.
And now they don't start milking from birth, obviously. They'll be about 2 years old before they have their first baby and begin milking.
All right. Well, okay, you're in the milking parlor now. I'm curious, can you show us how that process works?
Yeah, so we've got 20 stalls on each side. And I say stall, but it's pretty open. They walk in and they know to turn. So they're facing away from us. And then the next cow will file in. And once they're trained, which takes a couple days, they just come in on their own because they enjoy being milked. It's comfortable for them. It's a relief to let that milk down. So they come in here, we dip them with iodine, and then clean the teats. And then we will, after they're clean, we will put the milkers on. The milkers have a gentle vacuum that helps stimulate the milk to be let down. And the vacuum cuts on and off. So it's not just like always sucking, but it's on, off, just like a calf would suck on the cow's udder.
Okay, and I have a couple of questions here. One is, well, I think you already answered this, but does it hurt the cow to be milked?
No, it does not. I would actually say they enjoy it. It feels relieving to them.
Okay.
And it only takes like 5 to 8 minutes for them to actually milk.
Oh, perfect. That was another question. How long did it take? Then I see that computerized thing up on top. Can you tell me, what is that tracking? What are you doing with
Yeah,
that?
so it will tell you the cow's number. So you're looking at cow number 633. It'll tell you she was expected to give 30 pounds each milking. And currently she's just hit 30 there. We have an ear tag on each cow that is RFID, and it tells the computer which cow the computer's looking at. And then we also have milk meters. So we're measuring how much milk each cow produces, and the computer is tracking that and storing all that data. And so we have that then to help us decide if the cows are sick, maybe the cow's not milking as much as it's expected to. And it helps us, just track how we're doing on, milk production, if we're feeding the cows well and those things. Yeah.
There's definitely a lot of technology I'm seeing that goes into farming that helps you maintain efficiency and sustainability. Like, I am super impressed. We're running out of time in here, so I think we need to move on to another really interesting part of the farm, the manure separator, to learn more about how y'all are reusing, how you're reusing that manure. So I think we have, I think we might have a minute here to take a couple of questions, or let's see.
It
Well,
looks
we are
like,
right into the manure separator. Can you tell us what
yes,
this is doing?
beautiful. That thing is just squeezing manure all day long. Uh, before that, before the screw press, we have two vibratory screens, which the manure liquid hits those. The liquid goes through and the fiber shakes around till it falls down into the screw press. And then the screw press is just pressing it to get it down to like 55 or 50 or 60% dry matter. It's important to get it dry enough because after it goes up that chain conveyor, it goes into a composting drum. And the composting drum tumbles it and keeps it in there for about a day or 2 days, and allows the bacteria to grow and create. It gets up to 140, 145 degrees Fahrenheit in that drum. And so that kills the bad bacteria. And so then we have a product that we can sell. And we sell that in soil bags, like soil amendments. That's a good substitute for peat moss. And it's a moisture holding type of material. It's not high in nutrients. The fiber is not. And it looks like we're looking at the manure pits here. These, this is where we store the extra liquid because some of it we recycle once we've removed solids. We recycle it to flush the barn, but there's still lots of extra, and that will go into these pits, and we can irrigate some of the thinner liquids, and then the rest we will spread on fields. And we're actually injecting the manure on a lot of fields now to help reduce odors and put the nutrients down in the soil, which helps keep the nitrogen from volatilizing. Any questions?
Okay. I see. So what temperature does that composter heat the manure solids to?
Yeah, typically it gets to like 135, but it can get up to 145 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay, and let's see, I do have a question about the life of a cow. How long do cows typically live?
Yeah, so about like 8 to 10 years.
All right. And okay, do cows have a certain spot in the barn that they typically go to?
Yeah, not terribly, but they definitely do have like their stall, and they can. We pay attention to the herd dynamics, and you can have like bossy cows, and yeah, there's ones that are bosses and some that aren't. You got to help manage that a little bit. But yeah, they do have their spot sometimes.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard that cows will sometimes, like people, they stick together, like they're in their little cliques sometimes to they like to stay together and go back to the same spots where they feel comfortable. So I think we might make our way down to the calves in just a minute. I do want to say, like, it looks like Windcrest is using some really cool technology to like separate your waste products so they can be reused. And I see how the sand is separated from the manure, and you're recycling sand and recycling water. And just knowing that all of that manure contains nutrients that then can go back into the crops that you feed the cows, and the fertilizer that you sell to other nurseries. I'm really impressed at all the recycling that you all are doing. So as you make your way, I think, to our next stop, our calves, I just want to say that I can't help but feel really thankful for all of these ladies and the nutritious products that they give us, and to the dairy farmers who work so hard to produce these nutritious products like milk, yogurt, and cheese, and dare I say my favorite, ice cream, that I get to enjoy. I do have a question for the viewers out there. I want to hear from you and know what you know about, or find out what you know about dairy nutrition. So please take a minute to type into the chat what nutrients come to your mind when you think of milk and dairy products, or if you want to type in what your favorite dairy food is. I'd love to hear from you. And we will come back to that in just a minute. But now we want to take a minute to transition over to our calf area. We do have a short video that will explain more on water management on the farm, and then we will pick back up close to the calf area in just a minute. Okay, I see some answers coming in on the nutrients question. I'm excited to see calcium. Someone typed in calcium as a nutrient they thought of with dairy food. So I'm happy to see that. Did you know actually milk is the #1 source of that bone building mineral calcium in the diet? Another good source of calcium is kale. But did you know that you would have to eat 17 cups of kale to get the same amount of calcium as you get from 3 servings of dairy? Then I see someone else typed in protein, and I think it's worthy to note that 8-ounce glass of protein does contain more of that muscle building protein than a large egg. So you would actually have to eat 4 large eggs to get the same amount of protein that you get in 3 servings of milk. And then I'm so glad to see that somebody typed in vitamin D. Vitamin D is a crucial vitamin that helps calcium get absorbed into the bones to maintain those strong bones. So vitamin D also helps maintain a healthy immune system. And you would have to eat 15 sardines to get the same amount of calcium, same amount of vitamin D as you get in 3 cups of milk. So I'm just asking, which would you all rather consume? Thank y'all for participating, and you did great on our dairy nutrition quiz. So I see calves. So I'm going to give it to you, Erin, now to tell us about these babies and when were they born?
Yeah, hey, these babies were just born a day, maybe 2 days ago. This is our maternity pen. We've got the cows nearby that are close to having a baby, and then where we can watch them, and then we can assist them too if they need help. But then they'll come into this pen where they will have the baby. And then we will take the first milk from the cow, the colostrum, and we make sure that the baby gets that milk in the first hour or two, because it's really important for building the immune system. It's all about good gut health.
Oh, it is so cute. So how much does a baby calf weigh when it's born?
Yeah, they about 80 to 100 pounds typically.
Oh, goodness. And do you
Yeah.
ever see twins or triplets?
I don't think we've ever seen triplets, but we will get twins occasionally.
Okay.
And yeah, they're smaller if they're a twin, and but they're still very cute.
Are they identical?
I don't know that we checked for that. Yeah, that's a good question. They could be.
With their spots, I've heard that no two cows have the same spots, so they might not look identical, maybe.
Yeah.
I saw behind you. I'm just curious. It looked like maybe one of your cows, your big cows, is getting a massage. Was it getting brushed like it was at the spa?
Yeah, it's an automatic cow brush. If you bump up against it, it'll start turning. And yeah, they just love it. They'll push the thing all around, and we've got to repair it often just because something breaks on it, the wires or whatever. They love it. It helps
they're fighting over the brush.
Yeah, it helps take like their old hairs off so that they're they just have a good coat then that's not full of old hairs and dirt. Helps groom them.
That's I mean, it's so nice to see, again, another example of how you're keeping your cows comfortable.
Do you guys see the orange ear tag on these cows? It's not, they're gonna look away now. That is actually like a pedometer. It measures motion in several directions. And so we're able to keep track of how many steps the cows are taking. It tells you, I don't know how the program works, but it tells you how long the cow has been eating, how long it's been resting, how long it's been like actively walking. And then it also tells you like how long it's been chewing its cud. So after a cow eats food, it chews its cud, which like regurgitates some of the partially digested fibers and chews them again. But yeah,
wow.
So those help us track like the health.
That's all in that tag on their ear. That's that's impressive.
Yep.
So it's like their Fitbit and their eating. It measures how long it takes them to eat.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. Okay, let me see. I think I have some questions here. Back to the calves. I think everyone's interested in your calves. How many calves are on your farm? Or do you have?
It's maybe like 100 to 200 calves currently. We only raise the heifers at this point to grow them into dairy cows for the herd. And the bulls we sell at birth. So yeah, we're only raising like half of the ones that are born here.
And how soon after a calf is born can it walk?
Right away.
Really?
If you have one born out in the field and you don't find it for like 3 days, you can't catch the thing. It's going to run faster than you can run.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Well, do they play with each other? Like, would two calves play? Do they play together?
Yeah. Yeah, they're very social animals. You saw there at the start of the tour, the cows are coming up to see what's going on. You cannot leave your tools sitting around. If you stand too close, they're going to chew your shirt. And yes, the babies will run around in the pen and play together.
They think your tools are their toys.
Yes.
That's funny.
Sure do.
Let's see what other questions we have here. Okay. Do you take calves to the vet or do you care for them yourself?
Yeah, so they're calves are smaller, obviously, but cows are not. So if we need a vet, the vet will come to us, and we have a vet come out like once a week to check animals and help us with ill ones. But we can administer medicine to the calves on our own too. So.
Okay. And so let me see. I think, okay, we're running close on time here. I'm going to try to wrap up in just a minute, but I want to circle back to some of your dairy farming sustainability things that you talked about today. You've done a great job of explaining what you all are doing on the farm to conserve resources and reuse, recycle as much as possible. I wish we had a lot more time to spend with you. I wish we had better weather too, to go out and see more of your farm. But before I close out, I just wanted to ask you, is there anything else that you would like to share with our audience that we didn't maybe ask or we didn't have time to show today?
Sure. Yeah, on sustainability, obviously the solar panels. To cool the milk, I think I forgot to mention this. We use well water, run it through a plate cooler, and the milk's on the other side of the plates. So we take the milk's like 100 degrees, and we run it against the water that from the well that's like 45 to 50 degrees. So the milk then is 50 degrees or 40 degrees. And then all we have to cool the milk down to is like 35 degrees. So then we have a refrigerant cooler that takes that 40-degree milk down to the 35, and then it goes right on the truck. So that water, it's like geothermal, but then the water we feed to the cows. So it's not like it's dumping down the drain or anything. That fans are on thermostats, and the misters are on thermostats. So they only turn on when the temperature gets to a certain point. And lights we have on timers, so that they're only on at part of the night. They're not even on all night. But yeah, reusing the manure is important to us too. Like you said, it's really good for the crops. And we'd have to buy a lot of fertilizer to replace what the manure gives us.
Right. That's awesome. You're saving there as well. So this has been really educational. Thank you so much, Aaron. I personally find it very comforting to know that farmers are not only concerned about feeding our current global our current global population with nutritious milk and dairy foods, but you're also so concerned about the land, the environment, and feeding future generations. So thank you so much. Thank you, all of our viewers, for joining us today. This is really all the time that we have for questions, but I especially want to extend a huge thank you to Aaron, Yutzy, and his family for all their hard work to bring you this live tour of their dairy farm today. The work that you do is incredible, and we've all learned so much. Now, don't forget that at the Dairy Alliance, we are your resource for all things dairy, and I encourage you to visit our website, which is constantly updated with the latest research, recipes, and news. And you can also meet more of our incredible dairy farmers in the Southeast on our website. So please visit us at thedairyalliance.com and take advantage of these resources that were brought to you by the generosity of our hardworking dairy farm families. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we wish you all a very good day. That's all. Thank you.